So, from the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of His will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to Him, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power according to His glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in light. I don't think I've ever met a Christian who hasn't struggled with questions about God's will. There's this sense that we have to tread carefully and almost tiptoe our way through life as to keep from stumbling out of God's predestined path for our life, trying to mitigate past mistakes and make better choices. But if you've been at OCC for a little while, you've probably become very familiar with a phrase we talk about quite often. Your next step is more important than your last. And I believe this simple phrase does a really good job of making the overwhelming idea of God's will a bite-sized reminder to just do the next right thing. It's kind of like students getting their course syllabus for the semester. You know, it's an entire list of to-dos and papers and required readings and assignments that really, if we read them all in one sitting, we're going to have a panic attack. And at first glance, this prayer for the people of Colossae would be a bit overwhelming, right? But in the same chapter, Paul expresses his encouragement with how the Colossians are growing in their faith and love for each other and love for the gospel. Paul's prayer is that they would continue in this. They would continue to grow. He's praying that as much as you love God and love each other, that it would increase. As much as you know God, or as much as you know about God, that you would know more. That God would give us this supernatural understanding, that our next steps would please Him and produce fruit and create healthy relationships and outcomes that point others to God. Paul's prayer is that in all of this increasing knowledge of God and good works and good fruit, that the energy we have to do this, that it would come from God. Like students who are trying to talk themselves down after reading the syllabus, right? We have to remember that God's supply of strength and power is more than enough for me today to accomplish what He has for me. Don't worry about tomorrow. How can I endure with patience and joy today? How can I love those around me well today? Better yet, how can I love those around me better today than I did yesterday? How can I know God better today than I did yesterday? Take the next step that God has for you today, knowing that if our effort is towards pleasing Him, He is going to be our ultimate supply. And then Paul reminds them that even in the reward they receive from God, this inheritance they look forward to, that you and I look forward to, that our hope is in, we aren't earning that through what we do and how we love each other. God alone has qualified us to share in it. So everything you do today, everyone you love, everything you discover about God, all of it is with thankfulness that we have even been included in the family of God. What a powerful prayer for us to pray over our churches and our families and even ourselves. Whatever your next step is today, I would encourage you to pray this prayer for your people. Write someone's name down and make it personal. Even maybe send them a text message and let them know that you prayed for them today. Paul thought it was so important not to just pray for his people and the churches, that they would continue to learn more and know God better and bear fruit, but he let them know he was praying for them when he wrote this letter to them. I think we can follow his example and as he followed Christ and let people know we are praying for them. So with that person you wrote down in mind, and with our church in mind, and with your family in mind, and even churches in our region, let's not just be selfish about our prayers, but let's pray this over Christians that we don't even know. Let's pray Colossians 1, 9 through 12, and not cease to pray for them, that they may be filled with the knowledge of His will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to Him, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power according to His glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified us to share in the inheritance of the saints in light.